Okay. Hi, Jesse. I'm Mr.
Hi.
Dixon.
Nice to meet you. I'm
Nice to
Jessie
meet you.
Spiegel.
Thank you for sitting down to interview with me today. This is my first interview day experience, so
Great. Mine
I've been
too.
pretty impressed. No way. Okay. Great. Well, as you know, I'm from the Dixon Center. I am the center director, and I am looking to bring on a Type 04 teacher. So I'm definitely excited to meet with you today. I think I'll structure the interview in terms of finding out a little bit more about you and your background,
Sure.
telling you a little bit about my center specifically and asking you some center-specific questions, and then kind of diving a little deeper in terms of our instruction
Okay.
and what we can expect from you there.
Great.
So really quickly, tell me a little bit about yourself. What made you join Teach for America?
Sure. So I'm from the Chicagoland area originally and went up to the University of Minnesota for my undergrad. And while I was there, I majored in journalism, but I also took a class in child development, child psychology. I absolutely loved it. Started getting into some different, part-time jobs, some nannying, that sort of thing, and just really fell in love with working with young children in those formative years. And then I had a friend of mine talk to me about Teach for America. He had joined out in New York City and had a great experience and recommended I look into it.
Okay.
And as I talked to different staff members from Teach for America, I just thought this was absolutely the place where I needed to be, kind of at the intersection of my desire to work with an early childhood population and also this great opportunity to help close the achievement gap.
Great. And why specifically in Chicago?
Absolutely. Well, coming back to Chicago was important to me because my family is still here.
Okay.
I also have a boyfriend who lives here, and I knew that those supports would be essential to me, given that it is going to be a really challenging experience. I've also learned a little bit just about the different communities in Chicago, and I'm really eager to kind of be on the ground in one of those communities and become kind of an integral part of that neighborhood.
Great. My center's in Englewood. Do you know
Great.
anything about Englewood at all?
I mean, I've ridden around in Englewood and visited, learned about some of the schools there.
Okay.
I don't know a lot about it, but I would love to come visit your center and learn more about the neighborhood.
That would be great. I'd like that too. So why specifically pre-K? I know you said you studied early psych a little bit.
Absolutely.
Can you tell me a little bit more about why you'd want to teach the little guys?
Absolutely. Well, right off the bat, I just enjoy working with young kids and their energy and the way they just kind of are so eager to learn and eager to learn through play and communicate with others. That's all those sort of things. But also, I just am really excited by the opportunity to make a bigger impact through early childhood education. I think given the 30 million word gap that we know exists between children in low-income communities and higher-income communities, it's important that we get in to classrooms as soon as we can and meet these children's needs in those early formative years. And so that's why I'm most excited about pre-K.
Great. And like I said, I don't know much about Teach for America. I did hear through the grapevine that there is a 2-year commitment. And that is a little worrisome to me because, I really value my staff and I want them to stay longer than 2 years, hopefully. I was wondering, would you be open to staying longer than 2 years, or is it 2 years and I'm done, or how are you feeling about that whole thing?
Absolutely. I mean, learning about Teach for America has really changed my outlook on my future, and so I'm absolutely open to seeing where the experience takes me. If I, finish the 2-year commitment and am eager to continue in the field and to continue at your center, then that would absolutely be a choice that we could talk about then.
Okay, great. I realize it's a little unfair of me to ask you, would you stay forever, but it means a lot to me.
Great.
How would you work with parents to really foster those relationships, because they can be really pivotal in a child's life?
Absolutely. I think that that's a special opportunity with pre-K and early childhood education is the chance to get parents really invested in the value of education at an early age and make sure that parents are built into advocates so that they can help their child support their child along the way through the K through 12. I definitely would make it a priority to talk to parents initially when I came into the classroom to figure out what modes of communication work best for them, to make sure that I'm reaching them at the times of day that are best for them, and to make sure they know that we're partners in their child's education. And then I think just ongoing, very frequent communication is important for parents to feel that they're welcome in the classroom and to feel that their voices are being heard. I'd also want to make sure that I could develop some opportunities for more, in addition to the informal communication, for more formal feedback. So possibly some parent meetings, maybe some parent roundtables where we could just share opinions amongst parents,
Okay.
and that I could provide a venue for that.
Great. Sounds like you have a very clear vision for how you want to interact with parents.
I think it's just so important to our children's success that it's definitely something we should consider more heavily than just an afterthought.
Great. So I know that you haven't taught it all yet, and actually that's kind of appealing to me, but I'd like to hear a little bit about what you imagine your classroom being like. How do you expect to interact with the kids? If I walked in your classroom, what would I see?
Absolutely. I mentioned before that I've had a couple positions nannying during my college career. And so given the way that I interacted with those children, I expect it to be somewhat similar, but on a larger scale in the classroom with more students. In those situations, the children I've cared for have had a very strong, close relationship with me. So you'll see us having conversations, see me, not afraid to get down, play on the floor with the kids and, really get involved in their play and make sure that I'm extending that. You'll see me talking to students all the time. I know how important it is to develop students' language skills.
Yeah.
And so during breakfast, lunch, every part of the day, you'll see me having conversations with students. Also, I expect that in the classroom when you walk in, you would feel sort of a buzz, like an energy from students' eagerness to learn and just their excitement about the things they're doing. I hope that you'd also see a really compassionate place where students care for each other and care for the teachers and have that respect for everyone in the room.
Great. That's a great answer. I'm a little confused about how you all are certified.
Sure.
I know for my classroom, what I'm looking for, I get a grant if I get a Type 04 teacher from CPS, so I'm hoping to get a Type 04. Now, I saw on your resume it says you have a Type 44. Can you explain what that's all about and what I can expect to get from y'all?
Absolutely. So that's a result of the fact that we have not yet started our summer institute for our classes at Dominican University. So currently we'll have an alternative certificate.
Okay.
But throughout this process, by the end of my first year of teaching, I will have the full Type 04 certificate, and then I can also choose to stay on and continue those evening classes. By the end of the 2 years, I have a master's in early childhood education, which I'm absolutely excited about, given the fact that I've learned so much about the appeal of the early childhood field for myself, and so it's something that I'm really interested in, is that continuing education.
That's great. That's very helpful. Obviously teaching pre-K is very different than teaching elementary school and teaching high school, middle school. Right. What specific challenges do you feel might come up in a pre-K classroom?
Absolutely. I think one of the things that will be especially challenging is the students at the young age, it's the first time they've been in a school, so they aren't necessarily aware of how to interact with a large group of people the same size as them, all wanting to use the same toys as them. So really helping children to develop those social skills and as well as those self-regulation skills is going to be something that's definitely a challenge, but will also be a huge priority for me. Their social